would love everyone to unmute and give a big hello and a warm welcome to each other, just from wherever you are. So if I go 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello.
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 Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Brilliant. You're all amazing rule breakers. I absolutely love it. Thank you for breaking the rules with me. That's felt really good, didn't it? So let me tell you a little bit about what we're up to today as well. We have, as I said, two of our favorite things today, storytelling and crafts. Some of you who, if you're on gallery view, you may be able to spot a rather beautiful woman called Nandi Jola, who is down in one of the screens that you can see. She is our fantastic storyteller today. There we go. And I will tell you a little bit more about Nandi in a moment. But first of all, I'll just introduce the rest of the session. So we're going to hear some lovely stories from Nandi. Then we will go over to Jana, who's going to share some lovely inspiration and ideas about doing our pebble painting. And then we'll have some time, just a bit, sort of about 20 minutes to work on our own little projects. And we'll put some music on and we'll just chill out and relax and do some crafts. And then we'll come back, and if everyone's willing and happy to share what they've made, that would be amazing. And we'll chat about what we might do with our pebbles once we've painted them. So if you are planning to do some pebble painting, I hope you've got your equipment ready. Newspaper, your pebbles. Here's some that I got from the garden centre. So I've already painted mine white, because sometimes it's nice to have a white background to paint on. Nice smooth pebbles. So I've got a few of those. Paint brushes. Who uses their jam jars for water for painting? Yeah, love a jam jar. And I've also got a couple that were prepared earlier. So here's one that my friend made for me. I wonder if anyone knows what sort of bird. Oh, where is it going? It's going that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't it gorgeous? So she made that for me. So that's a lovely one there. It is a puffin. For those of you not close to the sea, Jana's got one as well. And there's a lovely one that my niece made me with my name on it as well. When, at Christmas, the year before last, she made them all for place settings. So we all had our little place settings on the Christmas table. So I can see some other pebbles being shared there as well. That's fantastic. So let's go back to Nandi again. And I will give a little bit more of an introduction. Nandi's originally from South Africa, and she lives in Northern Ireland at the moment. She's a poet and a writer and a storyteller, and very, very talented, and really shares lots of love and joy through her stories. So I think you're going to really be in for a treat here. I would recommend that you get nice and comfortable and get yourself, that's it, settle into your seats. And that's it, get nice and comfy. And without further ado, I will hand over to Nandi for some storytelling.
Great. Thanks, Katie. And Molweni Nonge, that is hello, everyone. My name is Nandi Jola. I was going to say, guess which country I'm from, but Katie's already told you that. So I am going to say, we're going to use the chat button, by the way. So if I am in South Africa and I am going up the continent, can you tell me which countries I might go past to get to Morocco? So if you can put it on the chat button. So I'm from South Africa and I've got my backpack and I am walking, and it's going to be a long walk, by the way. Okay, I might have to take maybe a bus, a train. I'm passing Zimbabwe, brilliant. I'm passing the DRC, Ethiopia. Oh, you guys are amazing. Yes. Any more? Cape de Verde. Any more? Brilliant. So South Africa is right at the south, at the it's the very last country on the continent. And there's actually 54 countries that I may choose to go to. And if I'm in those 52 countries, I might speak more than Xhosa, which is my language. I might speak maybe Shona, which is from Zimbabwe. Or I might speak French, which what Congo people speak the most. There's over 25,000 languages to choose from, and I only speak 5. Okay, how many languages do you guys speak? Again, put it in the chat button. Maybe you speak 1, maybe you speak 2. Okay, brilliant. Yes, there's Nigeria there as well. So I was saying this morning, the sun is definitely going to come out, but it hasn't really come out yet. So I have a nursery rhyme that reminds me about the sun. Okay, and I'm going to sing this nursery rhyme in my language, which is called Xhosa. You might sing it in your, or you might remember it in your own language. So it's called Indaka ezimbini zazihleli emthini. Amagama azo uThabo noThabisa, wabhabha uThabo, wabhabha noThabisa, wabuya uThabo, wabuya noThabisa. Does anybody guess that nursery rhyme? There's 2 little birdies sitting on a tree. Okay, so I'm going to open up today's story. I learned something yesterday, that it was National Cheese Day. So can I share a photo with you, which I find it to be really cool. So if I can find it. So this is the photo I wanted to share. Can everybody see that okay? Yeah. So it brings me to my first story. There was once a family of mice, and they lived behind the wall of the kitchen in what we used to call in the good old days, the pantry. Mommy Mouse and her little children. And she told her little children, never, ever go into the kitchen because there's a big cat that lives out there. Oh, the children would pick through the little hole and they can smell all the lovely food. But tell me this, do children ever listen when you tell them not to do something? Mommies know this, children never listen. So one day when Mommy Mouse was not looking and taking a little nap, what did the little mice do? Out the hole they went because they saw a beautiful, lovely piece of cheese and they thought, we can have this. So one by one, they crawled out of the hole into the kitchen. And they reached up to the cheese and they started scoffing. They were absolutely having a great time that they even forgot that there was a what? A big cat that lived in the kitchen. And before you know it, the cat was right in front of them, staring at them. Now they started wondering and they crawled into little balls and they were squealing. Oh, the cat thought, this is going to be some lunch. But before the cat opened its jaws, Mommy Cat jumped in front of it and she purred and she got big and she went, woof, woof. The cat was bewildered, thought, a barking mouse? Never seen that before. Flew the cat. Mommy Mouse went inside the hole with the little mouse and said to them, you see, children, how important it is to speak another language. And that's how they got away. So remember I said at the beginning that how many languages do you speak? Sometimes speaking another language gets you out of a trouble. Brilliant. So the next story I'm going to tell is about Clever Rabbit. I know there's somebody sitting here, Noreen. She's a great friend of mine. Clever Rabbit. How many clever children do we have here? I know you guys are all clever. I know. I can tell. If you can do Lego, you are smart. And if you can do Minecraft, oh, you are definitely smart. And if you can, believe me, turn on and off the computer, you are smart because I can't. So anyway, this story is about Clever Rabbit. Clever Rabbit was going about his day when he noticed suddenly he was trapped in a pack of wolves. Little rabbit thought to himself, I have to get out of this. The wolves were only happy because they were going to have a what? A big lunch. Everybody say, big lunch. They were going to have big lunch eating rabbit. Oh, but rabbit thought, not today. You're not going to eat me. So he noticed there was a little wolf who was looking at him so curiously, almost admiring him with his big floppy ears. Hello, said little rabbit to the little wolf. Hello, said the little wolf to rabbit. Would you like to be my friend? Said little rabbit. Oh, little rabbit didn't worry about all the other wolves, but was engaging with the little wolf and says, I have games. I can show you how to play. Thought Daddy Wolf. Mommy Wolf looked at Daddy Wolf and said, surely we couldn't eat him now. They are friends. We'll wait when he goes to bed. Then we can eat him and have him for tomorrow for lunch. He'll not know. We can tell him a story or two. So all the wolves agreed. So Clever Rabbit was what? Off the hook there. So he thought to himself, I have to come up with so many games. And he did. So he started off playing and they started dancing and he asked all the wolves to get involved. So he played all the games you can think of. Can you tell me in the chat which games you know? Scopotch. We used to call our games in Africa Uputa, Ukaps. We used to play so many games and Clever Rabbit kept them coming and coming and coming. And then to Wild, oh, Sleeping Lions. Oh, I like that one. Muddy Puddle. Ooh, I like the games. Played all the games all day long. And what they didn't realize is that Clever Rabbit wasn't playing, but he was instructing. And the last ever game, he said, we're going to dance and we are going to go around and round in circles. And he was there in the middle. And he was watching them as they were dancing and having a nice time. And everybody was dancing around and round and round and round and round. And everybody got there. And at this stage, Clever Rabbit was the only one left standing. And that was the time for him to escape. And he did. By the time they came back and they looked, he was nowhere to be found. And my children, that is how Clever Rabbit got himself out of that trap. I hope you enjoyed that one. So I love the Clever Rabbit story because children bring up so many games. And when I'm doing this in person, we start playing the games. So the Clever Rabbit story becomes a reality and we could end up playing the game. And sometimes they do get me to go and round and round and round. Clever children indeed. So I forgot. This weekend is what? Big lunch.
Big lunch.
And brilliant. So I know Tracy was saying that they are having lunch after the storytelling session. I'm gonna have lunch as well. What do you usually have on a big lunch? So you can unmute yourselves and tell me, do you have cassava? Cake? Yes, my
Cake,
favorite.
sandwiches, crisps.
Oh. Does anybody even have pounded yam?
Don't know.
Yes, I like pounded yam. I eat cassava either boiled or fried.
Brilliant. Does anyone have what you call, it looks like a banana, but it's not a banana.
Oh, it's plantain.
Plantain!
Oh,
Brilliant. And tell me this, riddle me this. What has 3 corners and it's brown on the outside and it has minced meat on the inside?
Samosa.
Samosa. Brilliant. You guys are absolutely amazing. So I hope you get a lot of food this weekend. Enjoy and have some art as well, because art is just in us. We live it. I live art. I love to look like this. If I can get away with the weather, I would dress like this on a daily basis, but I'm afraid sometimes it's too cold. So my last story, did you enjoy the last two stories? Yeah? Brilliant. So on the chat button, tell me how much you've enjoyed them, and I'm going to tell you my last story. So 11 out of 10. Brilliant. That's great. Thank you. So in Africa and here in Ireland, for that matter in England and Scotland, in fact, all around the world, we've all experienced poverty. And back in the days in Ireland, just after the famine, young boys and girls had to go and find work, especially in the summertime when the schools were closed. They had the long summers to go and look for work, what we call hire. It was no different in Africa. Young women went to work on farms as maids, and so did here in Ireland. So this story is called the Stone Soup Story. So back in Ireland, when young boys and girls had to go and look for work to help their families, they would go to the farmer's market where a farmer would come and hire them. Girls would go and work inside the house as maids, and boys would do odd jobs around the farm all summer so that they'd earn a little bit of pocket money before they went back to school again in September. So odd jobs would be maybe fixing a fence or help cut the grass or paint the shed, anything at all to give them a little bit of pocket money. So these two brothers went about to look for what we call a summer job, John and Johnny. But they didn't go to the farmer's market. They decided that this summer they were going to go from one village to the next. And if people in the village couldn't pay them, maybe they would give them a place to stay or a dinner at night so that they would move on to the next village. And their game really was to get to the nearest village and get as much money as they could. So as they set about, they went to the first village. And this village had plenty of work, and they worked there for a whole week, mending sheds and herding cattle and even helping harvesting. Away they went, and the villagers were happy, on to the next village, and so forth and so forth. But they came to this beautiful village where everything looked perfect. The sheds were all painted, the fence looked nice, the grass were all cut, and they thought to themselves, maybe there's nothing, no work for us in this village. Maybe it'll just be a place of rest. So as they approached the village was quite quiet for a village. You know what the villages are like. Usually there's maybe a cart of donkey that is passing, or there's people around, but in this one, it was so tranquil and so beautiful. When they approached it, they saw a lovely spot. What we say now in our days is the city center, but it was the middle of the village. So they thought to themselves, there was no work there for them. There was no point asking because you couldn't even see a soul in this village. They took off their backpacks and they started doing what they usually do if they can't find work, to start a fire. And before you know it, the fire was getting on, and they had a little pot and they had water. So they started what you call cooking. They noticed a boy was coming with his mother. At first, they didn't want to really talk to them. And the mother was clutching on to the boy as to say, we don't speak to strangers in this village. But the little boy was so curious that he just ran over to them and asked them, what are you doing? And they said, we are making soup. Soup, he thought, but there's nothing there, just water and a stone at the bottom. He said, yes, it's called the stone soup. Thought the little boy. And the mother couldn't help herself but to come and just have a pick herself. And the little boy said to them, My mother makes a lovely vegetable soup, and in it, she puts carrots and potatoes and an onion. If you want, I can run over to my house and bring you some. "Oh, that'd be nice," they said, John and Johnny. So the little boy ran over and brought some ingredients, and they started putting them in. So some people were curious as to see what was Johnny and John doing in the village. And the little boy and his mother was there, and there was this nice soup being cooked. So little by little, the villagers started coming out, and each was saying, "Oh, we can add on to that." So everybody added on maybe an onion. Somebody else said, "I'll bring bread," and somebody else say, "Oh, we need drink after." So before you know it, the whole village had come out, and this soup was getting bigger and bigger, and it was smelling nice, and it was bringing the whole villagers together. So after dinner, when everybody had a bit of soup, and they started playing the music and they started telling stories, they realized that it was getting late. And they said to the villagers, "Well, we'll set off because then we had to go and look for more work." And one elderly man said, "Surely it's late. You can stay with me and then you can set off the next day." And they agreed. So what they have realized is that this village, from speaking to the old man, people kept themselves to themselves. But what they had brought to the village, even if they didn't have anything physical to offer for their soup, they brought their stories, and those stories brought people together. And from that moment on, you know what? Each year, the villagers celebrated with the Stone Soup Festival. And each year, the villagers came together, shared stories, and remembered John and Johnny for setting up this precedent that nobody would have thought about. So it is good to bring people together, whether it's in cake, tea, sandwiches, stories, even art. People really love being together. It just takes one person to say, "You know what? I am going to do this. I am going to set up the big lunch." So my challenge to you next year for Big Lunch 2021 is that you gather maybe some of your neighbors, one or two, and say, "Would you like to do some big lunch?" And with those words, I would like to wish you happy Big Lunch 2021. Enjoy your big lunch. And from me, ndithanda ukubulela ndisithi ndiyazingca niqhayiya nebhongo ngobuntu bam, kuba eAfrika sithi umntu ngumntu ngabantu. Enkosi.
Thank you so much, Nandi. I love listening to your stories. I love how you tell them. And I love all the layers that you bring into the storytelling as well. And that stone soup is the perfect story for Big Lunch Weekend, isn't it? So thank you so much. It's been lovely to have you with us. You're very welcome to stay and paint some stones if you'd like to as well. Or we'll send you some pictures as well of all the craft that everybody does.
Yeah,
if
that'd
you'd
be
like to join
brilliant.
them.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon.
Yes, I'll see you
Thank
guys
you.
soon.
Everyone give a
Have a great lunch.
away.
Bye.
Yay. Thank you, Nandi.
Thank you.
Right, I am about to hand over to my colleague Jana. She's going to have a little chat with us about our crafting session. I'm sure everyone's feeling really inspired and relaxed now after those beautiful stories from Nandi. So I'll hand over to Jana. I think she's going to share some ideas and inspiration with you.
Great. Well, hello, everyone. So I don't know. I think Charlie, how did we come to stone painting? I think it was you who found this beautiful stone. I don't know if I hold it really close as a camera, you can see how much detail there is in there. We just found that in our local park and we just thought, well, that's beautiful. And it lives in our house ever since. And we just thought it would be really nice to paint our own stones, which we did the following Christmas. We gave it out to all friends and family, but also left them just scattering around in the local park, and got back pictures from people finding those stones Christmas, and most lovely actually. When we came and visited our family a few years back, and saw their decoration next to their tree, they had all our little Christmas stones. So we know that every year when they get ready for the big Christmas celebration, they using our stones to decorate their house. So, and I don't know, that was something I found really, or I found very, very nice. I think Charlie is definitely more like interested in getting painting. So before I just talk you through some of the things you can do and what you need to get going on stone painting, just to share with you some examples. So I'm just sharing my screen for a second here and going into presenting mode. 1 second, here we go. So this, I believe, are some pictures of some stones that Tracy and her grandchildren, I think, did.
Emily and Anna, yes, who are
Emily
busy
and
away.
Anna, so yeah, they are definitely, as you can see, our absolute creative masterminds when it comes to how to use, how to create really lovely looking stones. So here's a few more examples. And so yeah, so as you can see, you can really go wild. Little monsters, little messages, anything which makes people smile. So let's go out. Right, so I've just stopped sharing quickly. And so what you need for stone painting obviously is a stone. Here we are, there we go. I used one just from well, my house luckily has loads of stones in front, because the previous owners thought that it would make gardening easier to just simply destroy the garden. So we will be using each of those stones over the next year, before we then will install our own wildflower meadow in our front garden. So we have loads of stones to paint. But if you don't have stones, just to say, please don't go and use pebbles from the beach, because we have some issues around our coastal areas in the UK with coast erosion. Yeah.
Coastal erosion, I think.
Yes, that's what I meant. And so taking, and in some places actually it is forbidden to take pebbles from the beach. So, but you can get them in every garden centre. Just by a back there, and they are beautiful actually, because they're all really, really smooth. Then the other things you just need is paint. Acrylic paint works really well. And as Katie said, a few paintbrushes, again, different sizes, just if you want to go really detailed on your stones, and a bit of water to obviously clean your brushes, and what we normally use, but you can use loads of your recycling stuff as well. So we've got one of these, which is just to mix colors in. But I would say if you don't have anything handy right now, just raid your recycling bin. You will find some old tins or things there, which you can use for this as well. I think that's pretty much all you need. I think we have, did we do, yeah, I think we started actually with doing different colors on the stones, so we can then write little messages on. Oh yeah, like this. So this is one we found, which not we didn't make that. That was some of our lovely neighbors did make that, and so yeah, so we were really happy doing this. But because we picked this up, it's definitely time for us to do some as well and scatter them around the neighborhood. So I think we're pretty much ready to start a roll. I think what we might want to do is, Katie, you said we're going just to play some music for 15-20 minutes. Everyone can just, you know, concentrate on your stones, get going with your stone painting, and we then will show each other in around 15-20 minutes when we've done. Any questions?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, it's just so relaxing watching other people relaxing, isn't it? As well, watching other people doing stuff with their hands. Hope you enjoyed that. Even if it was just listening to the music and taking a time just to stop for a minute and get into the flow of some craft. Now, I'm quite intrigued by what's been happening with Yana and Charlie. Because there's something going, I think, was there a spillage and then did something exciting happen?
Yeah. There were stones, there was paint, there was a beige carpet. But we also have a new friend for our garden, Mr. Ladybird.
Oh, that's
Amazing.
beautiful.
Mr. Ladybug. We obviously have, because it is Big Lunch Weekend.
Top branding, top branding.
Oh, and then Charlie, you show yours.
Oh, that's beautiful.
There we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Funnily enough, I also did a little ladybird, which reminded me that I need to go to the optician because it's so tiny and I could hardly see what I was doing. I think I need some new glasses and just a love heart. I think I'm going to put these on my window ledge and paint another stone which says, take what you need. And because I have another one here that says joy on it. So I think I might do a little bit more work on that one and pop it on my window ledge.
Lizzie, how did you get the writing so neat? We always struggle with that.
I have a secret set of pens, you see. It sounds like a bit of a cheat, doesn't it? But these are, if you ever get these, I think that Emily and Amma have been using the pens as well. They are so much neater. I'm not a very good painter, keeping in the line. So yes, that's why it's really easy to do the little dots if you've got a pen as well. So I can definitely recommend the pen. Would anyone else like to share their creations with us? If you could unmute and then hold them up to the camera, and then maybe, has Chloe got one that you'd like to share?
Chloe?
Wow!
Need some help there to show them up to the camera. That's why.
Fabulous!
Yeah.
Fabulous! So that's is that a bit of silver?
Yes.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Like a glittery kind of glue she's used as well.
oh,
Well
stunning.
done, you two, and that is a fantastic Big Lunch sign as well. That is amazing. Did you enjoy doing it? Was it quite relaxing and fun?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was, yes.
Brilliant. And what do you think you're going to do with them now? You're going to share them and pop them somewhere as a display, or?
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll do that. I think it's nice to share with everyone what we've done and encourage.
Wonderful. I think that'll be lots of inspiration for other people when they see those as well. Fabulous. Is there anybody else who'd like to share what they've done? Vita?
Unfortunately, I had no pebbles and I was rummaging in my garden and couldn't find any, but I made a penguin recently. I can't see if you can see. So I was like, brilliant, I have an opportunity to paint my little penguin clay model penguin that I've got. Can you see it?
That's stunning.
So thank you
Gorgeous.
for letting me have the opportunity and the permission to do that, because I feel like I've not normally I've got paint everywhere as well.
Oh, and a penguin would work really well on a pebble, wouldn't it, as well?
Oh, yeah. It does
Yeah.
look a bit like,
Yeah.
it probably looks like a pebble, but it's
It's
not. Yeah.
great.
Go with
Oh.
my puffin.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
penguins and puffins. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Emily,
love,
sorry,
sorry,
go on.
Tracy.
No, it's okay.
No, I was just going to say, I love that you mentioned about permission to do things, because quite often we don't take this time out, do we, to think about ourselves and doing something that just allows us to be creative. And it is really special time when we take it. So you have our permission to take 20 minutes out anytime you need it, and just have a bit of creative flow. Anybody else? I can't see everyone on my screen right now.
I was going to ask Emily and Anna if they wanted to unmute.
Magic.
Come on, Emily, press the unmute button and show what you've done. There we go. Show what you've done.
I made a bee.
Bit closer. Oh, that's sweet.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Anna? No, you should.
No, that's it. That's as much as they're showing. Can I show off what my grandson made?
Yes,
So,
please.
this is Rocky. So he's 5. He made Rocky, and he plays with Rocky a bit like Spoonie or Forky or whatever. And then he made a sunshine and stuck some beads on it. Isn't that nice?
That's really lovely.
And then
Never thought about putting beads on. What a good idea.
well, then this, I think he got his idea from this. I don't know if you can see it. it says happy. So there were leftover beads from those bracelet making sets, and they're using them to decorate the pebbles. So that's lovely.
You've got such a creative household there, Tracy.
Yeah, you could call it that.
We'll just call it that for now. Have we missed anybody? Was there anybody else who'd like to share? Has anybody got a story about finding a pebble
I'd like to
somewhere?
say, I think Abby and Hannah might have been doing something.
I wonder.
So I think we need to give the grown-ups permission to share what they've been doing as
Go
well.
on, Abby.
I've done a little rainbow heart, and I've done two-sided one. I've got a little plant one and then a little chick. And I'm in the process of doing a little monster as well, a little green monster.
Fabulous. I never thought of doing them two-sided. That's a good idea.
I love that little chick, Abby. It's so cute. Perfect size of rock as well for it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's cute.
Will you share a picture of your monster with us when you've done it?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. So any other grown-ups that are not feeling too shy?
I
Oh,
can go.
Hannah.
I'm in similar position as Vita, though, that I didn't actually have pebbles. So I was also taking a bit of time to think about, okay, so what can I do that is still really nice and something nice also for the rest of my community. So I thought there's actually quite a lot of people that can see my living room from other houses around. So I took a while to find some inspiration for something to draw. Now, I wish I could say that I had kids who did this and that it wasn't actually me who drew this. And it does need more time. It's not done yet. But I'm trying to make, can you see that? Does that make sense? I'm trying to make a smiley smile face. So it does need a lot more color and it's just a draft, but that might go up on my window later on today.
Love it. Smile is a brilliant word to share, isn't it? I really like that. And yes, we would like a picture, Hannah, when you've done it. You can share one with us.
Sure, I will need to find my my actual color pencil somewhere, but I might do that this afternoon.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you all so much for sharing those with us. Oh yeah, Tracy's just popped in the chat. If you share any pictures on social media, you could put hashtag a big lunch for our big lunch weekend. Well, big lunch and month of community as well. This is a lovely activity for month of community, and it's something that you can easily replicate with other groups, isn't it, as well? I was speaking to somebody yesterday who'd found a little stone actually, and one of the things that made it special for her was that it was a surprise and she wasn't expecting it, and that for her she's just said that gave her that little burst of happiness because she came across it when she was least expecting. So I think I might also do a few more rocks and put them in places where people are least expecting them and see if I can get some smiles as well.
I've also got my grandchildren, Emily, to write. So people do the Hadrian's Wall walk past me and they never know which way to go. So she's actually doing Carlisle and a little arrow. So we could put a stone at the top of the road so they know which way to go, which I think would be lovely because she's making it really colourful. So I might send you a photo of that.
Oh,
but that should help some
it.
lost walkers on their way and hopefully make them smile.
That's a brilliant idea. I love it, Tracy. So that's us pretty much finished up, I think, for the session. Oh, I can see Rita's still doing some painting though. I love that. Still just hooked in. Thank you so much for joining us for storytelling and craft. It's not just for kids, is it? It's for grown-ups as well. I think it's really good for us to do that sometimes. We have 2 other sessions still to come for the big lunch weekend. We have a lunar lunch this evening, and we have a cook along tomorrow as well, and they're both listed on our Facebook pages. So if you'd like to join us for either of those, I think the lunar lunch is going to be a lot of fun and games tonight, and the cook along, well, you can't go wrong with the cook along. As I said, tea, cake, food, we're big on that with the big lunch and Eden Project communities. So have a fantastic weekend, whatever you're doing, whether you're having a big lunch, a little lunch, whether you're smiling at neighbours, whether you're having a cup of tea with a neighbour on a doorstep. Tracy, you look like you might want to add something.
Yeah, I was just going to encourage people to fill in the survey, and if you leave your address on the second page, we'll send you a little pack out to thank you for joining us and maybe some other ideas for the month of community. So I just wanted to flag that up.
That is amazing, Tracy. I didn't actually know that, so I'm really
Yeah.
glad you did say that.
Yeah, we're sending
So-
out just a little thank you for joining us, Pat.
Fabulous. So the link's in the chat. Click on that now. It'll open a new browser window, and then you can fill that in once you've left the call as well, and take your time. And I think there were a couple of people that had to leave early, so we'll get that to them as well to make sure everyone gets their pack. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you again at the next one of our sessions. Have a great time. Keep painting.
Okay.